Hello everyone, and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. We have another ranked game community cast for you guys today with the Major Nick, who is yet again Quicksilver under a different nom de guerre. So, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about this game?
Yeah, so once again happy to be back. So I'm playing once again Eastern Bloc Unspec, which if you've watched any of the previous videos with me is quite rare because I don't really play red decks that much, and even less so Unspec.
Well, it seems to be working for you. You're back up. The last one, which should be yesterday compared to when this one goes up, was Captain, and now you're up to Major. Was that the order of these two games, or was this one first?
No, that was the order of these two games. So,
Hey, it's working.
yeah, I'm definitely getting a lot better. The 272Ss are amazing. I thank Mid Jellyman for recommending those to me.
I do have a question right off the bat, which is why the LKV Ural as a first buy instead of with the initial column? Isn't this reinforcement path important?
Yes and no. I find you can wait an extra like 20 or 30 seconds to get the extra points you need for a CV, because I think I had 30 points left over starting without buying the CV, so I just waited for an extra 70 points to buy the CV for Boris.
Gotcha. It's about 45 seconds of income.
Yeah. When you're pushing this mid like this, the only thing you're really gonna get that spawn point for is the early recon in ATGM into Echo, I think it is. Elena.
Ooh, did you see that? It looks like there's a bit of a blue blip over there on the side.
I saw that, but not in the
not in game. Oh, okay. No, it's just a Typhoon,
yeah,
I guess.
Typhoon. Yeah.
That's a fairly expensive early buy in the air, and you don't have any fighters up. This looks like you just want to claim between Gregory and Dimitri. Is that sort of the thought process here?
Yeah, I really want to use the T-72s in that medium to close range to negate the accuracy on it, because the accuracy on it long range isn't that great. So instantly I spotted
outvetted links.
Yeah, that's telling me at the very least SAS and maybe SBS. So I had a lot of points saved up at this point, so I did a bit of what you could consider a rescue buy. I was hoping they weren't unloaded yet, basically.
Gotcha. Because I mean, we have seen both helicopters in the air here, and it could be that he's looking to drop them like in your back line and then push the infantry over. I've seen that happen once or twice before. It's exceedingly rude, but the A7 has been around here for long enough. I'd probably say that one at least, I would assume, was unloaded, which is the safer option this far behind enemy lines.
But you also notice that the Lynx has got a high vanity, so it's definitely either SAS or Recon. So.
Yeah, because I mean,
Salamandra and DHS to try and deal with that.
There's a lot going on at the moment in Split. I mean, we're looking at a weird angle, but this is almost as broad as, say, like working on both sides of Punch Bowl, right? Where you're like all the way over here doing this, and then you're all the way over there. Like, that's a wide spread. SBS. Oh, he did unload. Oh, no. SAS. Missile away and a hit. That could be a dead Salamander, man. Like that.
That could have been, yeah. I get a little bit lucky here, getting the stun on it, and then the
I mean,
GSH.
It's a very effective cannon. It almost looks like a Vulcan.
Yeah, it's a crazy gun.
So, okay. We saw 2 helos. We've killed 2 infantry squads over on that side. There's still the Puma going toward your home base because, of course, I don't even know what this thing would do when he gets there. Maybe he's looking for a fob.
Maybe just to spot the infantry, F111C it, arty it, whatever.
Gotcha. So in the meantime, you've put some pretty decent pressure on Dimitri and Elena, and the only observation I could say is it looks like this line hasn't even really made contact that much. So if we take a look at neutral, yeah, okay. That's a lot of stuff on the side. So Gregory center, did you sort of have a feeling this was what was going on at the time, or was it a surprise?
I had a feeling that he had stuff in Gregory. Most people usually don't even, like, if they go into Gregory and get no contact, they don't really tend to push up into center. So against my better judgment, I kind of like ignored it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to maintain a front line, and then I'm going to get, you know, a pushing force for center, and then just reinforce where I need to.
When you think about this map, if you have Elena Dimitri, he has Gregory center, I'd still, I think, rather be you here because, I mean, ooh, nice hit. Just because it's equal tick, right? So if both of these are capped, But if you control the highway, you can just attack into center Gregory simultaneously from the side and from your own reinforcement zone. So that's going to be a hard thing for him to hold, even if he does have it locked down now.
Yeah.
So
LSTR caught out in the open. I'm trying to save him with some smoke.
yeah, no, they are elite. They have wheels for feet, but that stun, yeah, that's a lot of stuff shooting in. Does look like you got the commandos though, so at least there's a little bit of a trade. Not the ones up top, maybe. Have you been liking the Vigor 2s?
I find they work quite amazingly. They're really good at just absolutely melting infantry. And the Motorstrike here are really good chaff.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, they're not really going to be good at killing much, but still, I mean, 20 RPM rockets. It's just the short range, the low accuracy. 15 AP is not terrible for 10 points, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, okay. So this is definitely going to be Commonwealth General, and it looks like you've had a couple of decent engagements here. It's a shame the SAS are getting out, but I think, honestly, I question the Lynx 3 buy from your opponent into Dimitri, because...
I question the Lynx 3 full stop.
Well, I mean, there's that. People hate on this one, because, I mean, 100 points for 6 strength and no gun is a lot, even if it does have 8 Hellfires. But against Eastern Bloc, you always have to be aware of LSTR, and he even saw, like, he should have known about this group. It just escaped him, and he would have seen it running away as well. So you know there's LSTR here, and 2 Iglas is all it takes. It's a dead helicopter right there, 100 points sort of thrown away, and that adds up over time quite a bit. Ooh, we got blue in the back line. Now this is on the ground. That's interesting. That looks like... Is that an Oslov?
It's the...
Saxon.
Saxon.
Okay. Oh, shoot. Alright. When I flipped to blue, I saw this on the map, and... Okay, this is... Oh, no.
Yeah.
Resupplying on the ground. If those had been in the air, that's 2 dead Vickers right there, but... I mean... Base Osa, another base Osa looks like... Yeah, that's a base Osa right there on the ground. And if he clears this out, I mean, that's a lot of return on investment there. That is well and truly making up for the Lynx 3 being dead. So, what's the plan when you see this happening? Or is that the answer?
Yeah, that's the answer, Salamandra.
Gotcha.
I noticed, I had enough recon to see that you didn't have any AA, and recon heli with ATGMs plus PT-76s will be enough. I was really hoping to save the CV, but no bueno.
Yeah. Better your luck than mine, though. If it was my luck, I would have missed 3 out of 4 shots in the Salamandra. I left the Vickers alive. But it does look like that is tidied up, and the one observation I'll make about your opponent here is there's a lot of Vickers Mark 11s, and these guys are really excellent in the opener. They're really excellent for exploits, as we just saw, like exploiting a gap in the front line. But every time he's tried to use them on the front line, they've just been dying to Conquer's M's really easily, or dying to the T-72S's really easily. And you gotta keep in mind too, if you see the T-72S, it has the sphere, it's 26-25 meter range, it's a tank and a decently good ATGM. I mean, 22 AP power is pretty scary, right? Especially against low armor vehicles. So I really question, there's 2 more too. I really question buying so many of these after the opener. I think Commonwealth has a lot of tough tanks, and T-72S's struggle against the Commonwealth line of tanks, I'd say.
I think also, most of these Vickers are escorted without recon as well. Which they do have medium optics, but still.
So one thing I would have, just a little bit of a comment here, like I know you've been spending a lot of points to deal with Anna and getting a new CV there and everything, but locking this down early is super good. And if you take this side, like you've had this side for 9 minutes and there's no infantry there, what's the reasoning behind not really looking at Elena yet? Is it just to exploit more into Feder? Is it because of reactive play? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah, so I just haven't really had the points for it yet. The plan is to get some stuff there, and also I've got recon in it that can see reasonably well.
Yeah, the PT-76s.
Yeah, that would be much really reason to over-invest into a zone that's not going to be attacked, because some people just don't attack Elena at all, and he's got center and Gregory at the moment. He's just attacked my spawn. It's pretty low down on the priority center at the moment. Yeah,
that's a lot of good observations, good explanation. I like that, because, you know, even though that would be a nice defensive position, defensive positions that aren't relevant are just point sinks, and balancing what's important and what's not for that can often be really difficult. It's something I really struggle with as well, so it's a good explanation to have. And this is Goofy. Highlanders More Vickers Mark 11s, and here I guess there's nothing to really punish them too hard that I see quite yet. I mean, I think pound for pound, these guys take everything you have in the area, even the Vidra 2s, unless they close to much closer distances than you have currently. What's the plan here when you see these Vickers?
Hope that I get some good RNG on the BMP ones. And
Really?
some with a bit of luck and a bit of micro.
In 12 AP heats, Vickers have, what? 2 front, 2 side, 1 back, 1 top. So that's not even a one-shot if they get it. You need 2 hits to kill. Even on the side. And that's, yeah, auto-rotate. Goodness gracious. Oh, nice. Nice. That is some wonderful micro, my friend. I mean, just dodging his reload. And then I'm kind of surprised the Vickers has a longer aim time, but I don't know, maybe it was because it was on the move? Interesting. Goodness.
Yeah, I think also because his friend exploded next to him, he had a bit of morale damage as well.
That does slow down the reload, yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I would not have bet on the 20 points of vehicles over the 90 points of tanks on wheels, but, yeah. See something new every day, I guess.
We got a push coming in here, so I'm relocating my T-72s to help engage.
Yeah, and we're seeing
far,
something that's going to be a bit of an issue with the Commandos 90, just probably shredding even things like Mochutsen. What's the plan to deal with those?
T-72.
Yeah, fair. I guess they're coming up now.
4 AG, 8 rounds per minute. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I want to see this then, because, I mean, that's a lot of stun coming in. The 30-50s, of course, do have 2 guns. Look like they're only in range of the 50 cals, but yeah, a lot of suppression.
Yeah, I'm using my Mochutsen in there a bit sacrificially just to keep the commando spotted.
Yeah. I think a little farther back.
Now that my T-72s here now, I'm moving them back so they don't fully die.
Are those
just bam.
Okay. You know, that's an even trade, even for the Mochutsen, and you didn't even lose the second group, so up on points value there if you can resupply it. And speaking of that, I noticed you went fobless. What's the rationale behind that on this map in particular?
So I don't actually have a fob in my Eastern Bloc deck, full stop, so...
Oh, so every map is a fobless map.
It's a fobless map.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think a lot of particularly newer and even you know, even players with a little bit more experience really hesitate to go fobless.
So it's a real trade-off. Like the way I look at it is the only thing I'm using supply for is to resupply and rearm. I'm not running any overly expensive RD. Like that thing can be fully resupplied 3 times over with just a 30-point supply unit. Like the cost is so ridiculously cheap, it's not funny.
Jeez.
And more often than not, I just buy a new RD piece and regroup them together to split the ammo.
So for those of you who aren't aware of that mechanic, when you take 2 of the same sort of unit and you regroup them, the ammo is shared equally. So you can do this with mortars, you can do this with other artillery, you can do this even with tanks, I think. And so if Quicksilver bought a second one, and this one was out of ammunition, he brings it up, groups them, all of a sudden both of them have 20 rounds that they can fire. So that is impactful, and this is maybe a little worrying. The Vickers Mark 11 Green Jacket combo is pretty deadly on the ground. I mean, I still, yeah, okay, buying an ATGM.
I think there's going to be a tank engagement up by Fox in a minute here as well.
Yeah, that looks like a Challenger. Which one,
Challenger
though?
1. Mark 1, I think.
Mark 1? I can't tell the silhouettes apart between the... Yeah, okay, Mark 2. Which, I really like this tank. I think at 115 points, this thing is the sweet spot of Commonwealth heavies.
Yeah, it just lost 2 points of health to BMPs.
Yeah, never underestimate them, I suppose. And the double T-72S here could be really deadly. Okay, sacrificial Mochutsen 90.
Yeah, just wanted to keep him spotted.
1, 2, and...
Wait. Yeah.
Oh, is he gonna get out? Nope.
No, he is not.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, he's clearly trying to deal with T-72Ss, but, I mean... Yeah, they're only 10 points more expensive, so calling in and losing things like the Challenger 1 Mark II is going to be quite a steep price to pay. So he does have a position here. Did you see this at the time? Or, oh, yeah, just in time.
Yeah, just in time to unload the Mochutsen.
I guess the other group did die.
The other group did die, unfortunately. unloaded the Lekka Pagoda.
Yeah, that should be able to deal with an ATGM team. Plus, I mean, the Mi-17 as soon as it gets in the air.
If it gets in the air.
Yeah, and if we're
Well,
looking
just
at
killed it.
this, oh man, yeah, ATGM shoot at landed helicopters. It's the goofiest thing. I actually one time I remember I killed. Well, that's a lot. I killed a command infantry as it was unloading with an ATGM because it was unloading from a helicopter. It's pretty goofy.
There's a lot, but nothing my T-72s can't handle. I think his plan was to have the Challenger and the Leopard C2 Maxes engage my T-72s, which would have been a comparable fight because the C2 has some pretty decent AP for its price.
Yeah, but alone that's a challenge, and I think also it would have been nice to see some more smoke play from your opponent because if he closes that distance a little bit more, the Commandos 90 can engage with Carl Gustav M2s, and that would be a lot of additional punch.
Yeah. Finally getting that LSTR and ATGM team over in Elena as well, and working on clearing out the Green Jacket with the Specialani and the Vidra and the Motorcycle.
Yeah, I mean, it's more guns than the Green Jackets can handle. That'll resecure this position, and, you know, you're right from earlier. This is, you invested in it when you needed to, and, you know, that works well enough. Before that, just losing a single PT-76B is not really the worst price, and if you look at battlefield control right now, I think with this in Elena, you definitely have Elena Dimitri pretty secure here, and center is going to be, I mean, there's not all that much for you right now in it, but at least you're not pushed entirely out of it. So if it came down to a slow, grindy battle for tick, I would expect to see Elena and Dimitri held by you, and center potentially even contested. At the very least, unsafe for blue. And if he has to bring reinforcements all the way into here, right? That's going to be a long road. It's not going to be very smooth. It's really hard to hold that position if you don't hold a more forward position in Dimitri from the blue side. So I think this looks pretty good. If I were you, I'd feel, despite that initial shenaniganry with Anna, I'd feel pretty confident at the moment, I think, if I were you.
Yeah. So I'm buying a CV for Elena, and I've just bought some more reinforcements for Senna, because I just want... Yeah, every time, man. Every time. But that's fine. He's got 95 points, 89 points of tick above me.
Yeah, which is, what, that's about 7-ish minutes worth of +1? Maybe, yeah, around there. And there's 22 minutes left in the game. You definitely can afford that right now, but I like the CV buy for that reason too. It's like, if it became a grindy, having to contest for center, that 7 minutes is maybe not guaranteed. So I think this is the perfect time. You having some success in Feder as well, keeping him from pushing back in. And I don't know, I've often been told, you know, the time to buy a CV is right after an impactful kill. And the Challenger 1 Mark II was definitely an impactful kill. The C2 Maxis and Commandos behind it, definitely very impactful. And you didn't really lose that much for those engagements. So even if you were at parity, and I think you've been trading well before then too, that definitely seems like the time to say, okay, you know what? We have a couple of points to spare, and we're going to bring this forward. So can you talk a little bit about the command tank? Why do you bring this, and why do you pay that extra premium for a tank instead of something that's a little cheaper?
I don't like my CVs dying.
Okay, succinct, quick,
That's
to the
it.
point. Fair. With only 2 top armor, these guys are not the most resilient, but it certainly will survive most shelling other than, you know, cluster right on its position, so that is certainly...
And they could also defend themselves as well, so...
Yeah, I don't know. I tend to find when tank CVs start shooting, they're in the last minute of their life unless something else dramatic happens, but... Let's see. Challenger 1 Mark II, and what is this? So, Challenger 2. Okay. It seems your opponent is done messing around with mid-level tanks. This looks a lot beefier. How did you feel when you saw those two came out and your T-72s are sort of, I mean, because you've been investing other places, not really more supported than they were about 5-6 minutes ago?
Yeah, so it was a bit concerning because I could no longer sit there and feed off his infantry pushing across from Fedor into Bravo. So I push up the motor shoots on 90. I instantly buy 2 more cards, and another ATGM. My plan is to basically delay them pushing into Dimitri as long as I can and build in a concave to kill anything that gets into Dimitri.
Gotcha. I mean, it can be definitely hard to hold this section of woods.
I'm moving my T-72 to try and position them to shoot the infantry, but not get shot at by the tanks.
Gotcha. F-111C, somebody's had enough of your Conkers, man. That That is a commitment right there. And I'd say one
Yeah,
definitely not
not
worth
a
it. Oh, look at that.
yeah.
Was that the base Osa?
That was the base also with the Newa
God.
as well.
Even if the Neva got the
That
first tap, these guys are so busted for 30 points, it's insane.
yeah. So I
So-
definitely think I could win a 2v1 against a Challenger 2, but a 2v2 against a Challenger 1 and 2, I'm not coming out on top on that, especially when I'm half health. So my most important thing is resupplying my tanks at the
Which
moment.
is coming in right now, but it's going to be a challenge to refill everything, because the Neva needs 2 missiles, the Osa needs 4 missiles, and they're resupplying first. Yeah, that's a quick drain. That is a very quick drain. It does look like... So I like this as well. Simultaneous pushes are hard to achieve, but that's not what you're doing here right now. You're defending and pushing, and that can really be challenging for people to deal with, because Blue's points are coming in right here. We've seen the Challenger 2, we see another Challenger 1 Mark II. Commando's 90, even in 5-point boxes, are not the cheapest, right? This is 50 points for double stack, which, yeah, I mean, for Shocks, the front line is very cheap, but it's still, that adds up. Highlanders add up, and all of that is hitting a brick wall here right now, while you have stuff that can definitely advance. LSTR over here, one group of LSTR, the Vidras, the Monostrelchi, oh, 2, yeah, second one over here. So you're just sort of saying, hey, this is my spot on center, and exactly what we talked about earlier, if you have Elena and you have that corner of center, this game is yours by tick alone. So I think that's probably why you're not pushing any further, right? Is like, do you really need to?
Yeah. If he puts a CV in there, I can go on later and clear it out, but...
And for right now, defending in Dimitri is definitely...
If he puts a CV in there, I'm still on a +1. If I have a CV in there, so...
So, where I'm looking right now is this section of town. Because the one way I can see that he could really make a lot of trouble for you right now is if he gets Recon and an ATGM around here, and basically splits your control between Elena and Dimitri. Because that could lead to a blue 4 counter cap in Elena, and that could be pretty bad.
So that's why I kind of moved my Moschützen over there. They'll do a lot better in the forest, but I wanted to really avoid those SAS getting into that town there.
Yeah.
So I'm doing everything I can, and I'm still keeping his Challenger at base. I've got Conquest M's, I've got the 2T72s, I got the Salamandra, and about to get some Lekka Pagoda too. So he really can't push those Challenger 2s too far in without risk of dying, so...
Oh, it would have been nice to get the T-72s having a shot in the SAS there.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, 4HE with Splash can do way more than 4 damage to infantry that's close next to each other, because it's... I mean, you get the impact from the AoE on those guns as well, so oftentimes 2 shots with 4HE can really mess up infantry more than you'd expect. So...
Bit of an unlucky
line
loss
of sight.
of yeah.
Yeah. There it is. No. It's a lucky Challenger 2 right now, anyway.
Yeah, Challenger 2s can be an absolute pain to kill.
Yeah, so the 23 frontal armor really makes a huge difference, especially with top tier ATGMs like the Conqueror's M that are ordinarily such a threat even from the front against most tanks. The Challenger 2 is super resilient to it. It's kind of goofy. I think I heard once that the Challenger 2, by virtue of existing, warps the damage tables for heat, which is kind of goofy. Ooh.
Yeah, unfortunately, it
What's
doesn't
this?
warp the crit tables.
Oh, weapons jammed. All right, all right.
One shot from the Lekka Pagoda, weapons jammed. I'm going to try my best to get it with the T-72.
Yeah.
Don't get it, unfortunately, but he has to go back, and that's a Challenger 2 out of the mix for a minute.
Yeah, and that means that
so
double
now
stack T-72s really can bully even the Challenger 1 Mark II that we know is back here somewhere.
Yeah, so I can definitely clear out those SAS in that town, which has been really annoying, especially if I wanted to bring in air support.
Right. And speaking of, this has been really good cautious play here. So the SAS just out of range, the Salamandra and the Mi-17, and I don't imagine they'll survive against this much Moschützen. I mean, shock training, one still at calm, dealing a lot of damage in, is going to be very nice. And you're taking the engagement against the Challenger 1 Mark II down to 2 strength. Oh man, this has been a game of crits. Yeah, not enough to save him though. Nice kill.
Yeah.
Very nice kill. So I think this is just going to be an instance of Blue spent so many points into Dimitri with not much to show for it that's just what decides the game here. What do you think?
And yeah, and when you really think about it, I haven't really lost anything other than a couple of squads of Moschützen's 90, which compared to his Commando's 90, not that expensive.
Yeah, that's sure. That's for sure. So Green Jacket over here, I do like this. He is going to, if you do control Gregory and you're having a hard time in Dimitri, Recon is the answer, but keep him in the woods, keep him away from MI-17s, because otherwise, like, if you cleared out your Conqueror's M, and then you knew you had Recon Infantry somewhere down here, that can be deadly to deal with, especially if you can pinch over into Dimitri with a gun up on the high ground. But managed decently well. Salamandra also providing some recon oversight. And what is this? This is the Chowie 2? Yeah, that's the Chowie 2.
Yeah. He killed my Neo, by the way, so I'm bringing in the Tunguska so it can act as a big scratcher in the forest if I ever get run back further enough.
Gotcha. Now, you have your radar gun on here. We haven't seen any seed from your opponent, and I think that's a bit of a shame as well, because I really like the Commonwealth seed plane. I think it's expensive, but 70% base accuracy missiles are very, very nice. So is this just because you hadn't seen any seed so far, and I mean, it's 25 minutes in?
Pretty much, yeah. I'm not really too concerned if he kills it either. Like, I've got the OSA, I've got LSTR around. Nothing's making it out alive. He's got the Typhoon flying around, so I don't think he's going to buy seed just for that reason alone, because I feel like if you're running the Typhoon and the other things, you don't
have many points in the ground. So Challenger 2s, two of them right here. And I would like to see those grouped up, but I guess he is healing up the Challenger 2. And the issue with not having them grouped up, so grouped tanks versus grouped tanks, they'll split their shots between the two tanks in the group. So if his Challenger 2s are shooting in against yours, unless there's a big difference in line of sight, they'll both take damage relatively evenly. But your T-72s can just boop out of here and both hit a single Challenger 2. Your T-72Ss can both hit a single Challenger 2 and concentrate their fire. So the second I see those not grouped up, that looks a lot better than if they were. Was that an observation that you had made as well, or did it not really seem relevant?
I just made another observation as well. I don't think I've seen him use any smoke this game.
Yeah, no, basically none. Which from a major is surprising. Like, it's not a low rank. Major takes definitely some effort to get up to. Firing computer reset. Oh my goodness. You've got a really high number of these.
My arty just got just stunned the
on the Vickers, yeah. Conquers M kill. Very nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, down to 2. Oh, don't tell me he gets away. Oh, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. But I mean, we saw exactly what I said in action. There's the Challenger 2 got bullied down to 2 strength. Your T-72Ss, one of them was already damaged, so you took no new damage there, and basically forced a Challenger 2 back, which is pretty impressive. And it denies him the ability to use both of these in tandem, right?
Yeah. So just keeping them suppressed, keeping them pushed back. I was like, okay, my 2 T-72s have been doing really good so far. I think I need a third one finally.
Gotcha. And you have solved the tick problem, up 150 points to 95. That is a win right here, even if he does lock down center and put it to +0. But that has to, I mean, this is nice. With 12 minutes left, with the sheer amount of one-sided trading that's been going on in Dimitri, I'd be basically looking at this game right now as okay, yeah, I can sit here for 12 minutes, and as long as I don't do something blindingly stupid, it should reasonably be okay.
Also, I should, in theory, see his CV if he goes to center, unless it's helicopter CV, because if you see, there's a quad stack of PT-76s right above Fedor.
Oh, yeah. And that's going to block off, so things going in from Feder across this bridge might not be spotted, but anything that comes down definitely will be. And I don't actually know which path. I think the pathing here is very weird.
Yeah. So most times they go down the left there, in between the PT-76 and the Special Army. CV coming in there, so I instantly queue up the arty for that small bit of forest. The only place you can really put it.
Or
no,
right here?
The big patch of forest like that.
Yeah. I guess he does have Commandos 90 right there, yeah. I just assumed from the angle that he might have been trying to get cheeky with it, but that would be risky. I think a Jeep CV into this is definitely risky. I mean, it's 100 points, no protection, 5 strength. I mean,
it's a very interesting buy. I don't know why you didn't go for the center CV. Would have been a safer play.
It could be, honestly, just feeling the pressure. Because, you know, when you go from being up 95 points and having arguably a positional advantage, especially when you cleared Anna, to being down 170 with a +1 tick against you, it can be a very tempting thing just to try and solve that very quickly, right?
Speaking of this center CV.
Yeah, that's a Jeep. Down around the... Oh my goodness. How many shots does it take? Every single one on the first volley missed, all 4. And it doesn't look like he even noticed that. I guess there's... Oh, man. Okay. Those hit. That's gone. I don't even think
So
there's...
that was revenge for my base.
You hit it so hard it burned to a crisp. Look at that. Yeah, okay. Good revenge. And I can't imagine the one here will survive for that long. Ooh, ATGM trick. Nice. And the 3 T-72s. This is interesting. The first one is out ahead so far that it is taking every shot from the Challenger 2. Oh, was this your smoke?
Yeah. Yeah. I thought, you know, I'll show him how to smoke his tanks.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it did keep the T-72S alive, so that is nice.
Yeah, I had a feeling he had Highlanders in there, so that's what I was trying to smoke off, and
yeah,
it paid off because there was Highlanders in there.
By
the way, I already killed the CV.
Alright.
Yeah.
So back to a +1 tick, basically no impact there from those CV buys on blue, other than losing another 200 points, and purchasing another Lynx 3, so 200 points lost. The Lynx 3 buy to deal with a 15-point, well, I guess a group of them, but a group of 15-point tanks, so yeah, that's a lot of income spent on really very little battlefield impact. It's given you time to bring in another T-72S and resupply it as well. One thing, just a little bit of a goofy thing to be careful of with the no-fob gameplay. Man, I hope I'm not sounding too preachy this game. I'm on my high horse a little bit. I've done this before. There we go. Balance it out. If my resupply vehicles get damaged and I bring in another one, it'll heal up the resupply vehicles as well. It's just kind of goofy. So I've started just pulling these guys back when they're empty.
Yeah, one thing you can do with the empty resupplies, you can also regroup them, share the supply, and you
increase the rate. Yeah.
I didn't do that with Vickers.
I always forget about that in game.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that, like, if you teach yourself to do it, you'll do it without thinking about it. But if you're not thinking about it and you haven't taught yourself to do it, it's very, like, I don't know. I never think about that during game. Nice side shots from the Vidras. Goodness gracious. Beautiful stuff.
Vidras have been doing massive work this game.
Base Osa versus Lynx 3. Dead. Very nice. 100 points gone. And I think the Challenger 2s, if they'd been up here, they need to be grouped. These need to be grouped. Yeah. I mean, we haven't seen any of the tools that can punish grouped up tanks from your side, and I'm not even sure what they would be.
The thing is, I think I could have just more or less wiped him out with AA, with like planes and helicopters, because I think he only has SAS for AA.
Yeah, and you've been killing a lot of them. I mean, I hesitate to buy too many helicopters when I see SAS, stuff like that as well, because there's always one where you don't expect it. But that's one Chaui 2 gone. Let's see what we can do. A lot of damage on the T-72Ss, and tricky line of sight, so only 2 firing in initially. Yeah, that 23 frontal armor, man, that is rough. That is rough stuff.
It is very brutal.
Yeah, without the ATGM trick. Oh, there it is. But I think you needed all 3. Like, if that had been ATGM follow... Oh, MI-35. Down to 1 strength. Please tell me you get it. Oh, please tell me you get it, man. Come on. There we go. Nice kill. Nice kill. I'd happily trade 2 T-72Ss for 2 Challenger 2s any day of the week.
Absolutely.
Alright.
And there was another T-72S ready to go. He did kill my CV, but...
Yeah.
It is such as life.
That's a high cost, but I don't know. The other thing, other than just sheer points, the Chaui 2s, you only get 2 of them, and they're both dead now. And we've already seen that the other tanks really just get kind of bullied by the T-72S, so there's really nothing left in his arsenal that can fight those guys toe-to-toe.
So this was pretty interesting. Kaku comes in, he spots the T-72S, goes for a bad side shot, spots the other T-72, goes for an even worse side shot.
And loses the
Misses
Tahoe.
both. I think it might get out. Yeah, it got out.
Oh, just barely. Dead SBS. Yeah, I can't blame him there for the surrender. That's... Oh, geez. Down 1,000 points is quite a lot. And, I guess... Oh, man, this T-72S did well.
Yeah.
Do you have any closing thoughts for this game?
Yeah, base Osa really good.
F111C, Lynx 3, 30 point anti-air, and that's what, 290 points of kills?
Yeah.
10 times return on investment off of that. It's insane. Alright, well, thank you for hanging around for the community cast. It was a pleasure to see the game. Pleasure to hang out with you again, as always. And for those of you watching in the audience, thank you all for hanging around. We'll see you again real soon.